What the fuck you mean you went with another candidate? After you just told me that the job was mine. Not only did I decline a Fortune 500 company offer, I declined an offer from a company that created the position specifically for me. If I could decline those two opportunities, what makes you think if you give me the opportunity to take it or leave it, then I'ma take it? No, I'ma leave it. Just as they had a business to maintain, I had 3. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those that are new here, my name is India. It's so nice to meet you. For those that are returning, it's so good to see you again. So today we are narrating another Substack, my Diaries of a Corporate Dropout series, Confessions of a Corporate Dropout series. And so we are on Substack number 3. Okay, so make sure if you have not tuned into my first Substack, which was Corporate America Was Not Built for Gen Z, signed a 23-year-old corporate dropout, go ahead and check that video out. Also, if you have not checked out, read, watched my first Diaries of a Corporate Dropout episode, you need to watch that before you watch this, or you're not gonna understand. You know, you out of order. Okay, so definitely be sure to check out part 1 before you tune into this video. But let's just dive right into it. Y'all know I am literally reading my Substack, providing commentary, and we are going to stop and discuss things that need to be discussed. Amen. Amen. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So today's Substack is titled, Pass Me the Black and Mild. Diaries of a Corporate Dropout. Entry 2, can't be in your right mind, must be in the left. All right. Let's go ahead and get to it. We got a picture of I Love New York. Okay, Tiffany. What's her name? Tiffany something. It ain't Haddish. It's Tiffany something with an H. Pollard. Tiffany Pollard, maybe. I don't know. But I Love New York. Okay. So let's dive into this. Like I said, this is part 2. Make sure you tune into part 1 before we get into this. But let's dive into it. So first things first. 6 words to describe March 2024 to March 2025. Pick me. Choose me, love me. Man, your girl was down bad once upon a time. Now, if you're new here, be sure to read part 1. Like I said, I will link it up at the top. But for those who are true here, welcome to part 2 of my corporate dropout origin story. Last episode, I walked you guys through the trials and tribulations that took place between March 2024 and December 2024. That was slight work though. March 2025. Oh, she take the cake for sure. So y'all know I was fighting for my life for a good little minute. Really, March 2024 to March 2025 was like, that was the time when I was becoming closer to God, because I was just going through it left and right. And I needed somebody to fall on and to call on. And y'all, I was just really going through it. So it was like March 2024 was me thinking like I'm about to graduate college, me thinking that I have a full-time position waiting for me, finding out that I didn't, and declining that Fortune 500 company because I didn't want to go to New York, and I had trust that the company that I wanted to work with was going to create a position for me, even though I was basically strung along for 10 months. Say all that to say, please do not put all your eggs in one basket. If you are currently in college, or even if you are navigating the job market, the economy right now, please never put all of your eggs in one basket. Nothing is confirmed until it is on paper and signed. Okay? If you don't have an offer on paper or signed, you don't have a job, period. You don't have an offer, period. Okay? Because I thought I had XYZ and I was quickly humbled. So I'm gonna continue because we talked about that in the last video. So definitely check out the last video if you want all of that spill. Next. Now, let's pick back up in December, right after I had applied for my dream job, in quotes. And when I say dream job, I mean a position that had practically been built around me after 2 years of interning, over-delivering, and proving myself to this company time and time again. So I tell you guys all the time, I absolutely love my team that I worked with at that company. So where something might sound a little shady, I promise it's not shade. It's just me speaking the truth. And my coworkers and my team knew it as well. They knew that I should have been working there full time. They knew that I shouldn't have been strung along as an intern, but it was out of their hands. And that goes to show you that even when, you know, odds may seem in your favor at a company and you might have, you know, the likes and the overall consensus of those who you work with, they don't have the final say at the end of the day. Okay, so let's just get that in there. So even after being strung along for 10 months, I still convinced myself it had to work out, because in my mind, how could it not? Y'all, I really thought like things were gonna align until I didn't think they were going to align anymore. So I'm definitely going to talk about that. Now let's pick back up in December, right after I had just applied for my dream job. And when I say dream job, I mean a position that had quite literally been built around me after 2 years of interning, over-delivering, and proving myself to this company time and time again. Now, I feel like this portion could be taken as I didn't like who I worked with. That is not the case. Like, saying proving myself to the company time and time again, I was appreciated. I was definitely valued where I worked. It's just that I was reduced to intern. But my team knew that the work that I was doing was deserving of more beyond that. And so I will forever always let y'all know that I love my team down to the ground. My manager's manager, they advocated really hard for me. They knew the work that I was doing and they were working on my behalf. I had a vice president of the company working on my behalf to make something shake. So it's not a matter of I didn't feel appreciated or I felt like my work was being undermined. No, it's just they didn't have the funds to make a position. And then later on, you'll figure out how the legal team was tripping too, okay? Now, even after being strung along for 10 months, I still convinced myself it had to work out because in my mind, how could it not, y'all? I got real delusional, and we're going to talk about what that delusion looked like. Looking back, it's actually funny because during this time, I was low-key presenting myself to the world like I already had my official big girl job when technically I was still an intern. Delusional? Maybe. But honestly, after spending years of doing the work, carrying real responsibility, and being treated like a salaried employee by the masses, the whole team ran with it, y'all. Literally, we came up with a new position title for me. Even though I was still an intern, we dropped intern off of my title. Like, I just didn't want to present, because like I said, I had the perfect image, I had the perfect persona, and everyone knew me as the girl that was on her P's and Q's and had everything aligned and planned out to a T. So it's like, okay, I graduated, I'm working at my dream company, but I'm still an intern. And so my mind at that point was that once you graduate, you should not be an intern. That's not the case. There's a lot of people who graduate and go into internship positions, but in my head, it was when you graduate, you're supposed to be a full-time employee. So I kind of felt ashamed that I was still an intern at the time. And so I was doing everything that I could to mask that to the masses, okay? So when FAMU School of Journalism invited me back for Grads Are Back during homecoming, I definitely upgraded my title from intern to strategist with my team's approval, of course. So when FAMU, SJGC, School of Journalism and Graphic Communication, that is where I graduated, they invited me back for Grads Are Back, which is where every year they bring back alumni, and they have panel discussions about different topics within, journalism, graphics, and PR. And so they invited me back literally a couple months after I graduated to speak on a panel about, I think it was like creative communication, something like that. And so when it was time for them to have my title, I was like, I just said the category of my title. So how you can be marketing. So I just put the equivalent to marketing, but my actual brand position. I don't remember what it was at the time. I think it was like, we'll just create something. We'll say creative strategy and brand communications. So I literally put creative strategy and brand communications. And so they were bugging me. They were like, okay, but what's your title? And I was like, brand strategy or creative strategy and brand communications. They were like, no, that's a category. That's a department. What is your title? And so I was like, damn, I don't want to say intern. So I literally messaged my managers. I was like, so hypothetically speaking, if I say I'm a strategist, y'all gonna be cool with that? They was like, yeah, girl, do whatever you want. So I said that I was a creative strategy and brand communication strategist because I basically was. It's just I was on intern pay, but I just did not want to, what do I look like coming back for Grads Are Back and she's an intern? Now, thinking now, it's like, girl, that's not an issue at all. Like, you have a job, you're getting paid by a company, you're working at a big company at that. But in my head, it was just, no, intern is not acceptable. That's not the image that I want to portray. So I portrayed that I was a strategist. So yeah, delusion, yes, but I was doing the work and my team was okay with this. So it ain't like I, backhanded nobody. Anywho, yes, so delusion aside, your girl was still submitting hundreds of job applications every single week All dead ends, by the way. Rejection emails, ghosting, interviews that led nowhere, the whole nine. I would literally spend hours putting together mandatory final round pitch decks and projects just to get ghosted or told that hiring had suddenly been paused. I was real tore up when this company that I got put onto, it was an agency that worked with the company that I was working with. So it would have been a seamless transition. The agency was in a different state. That's whatever. That's besides the point. But I got put in contact with the head honcho of that agency. I got put in contact with her. So I went through the interview process. I made it to the final round of the interview, which was a project-based presentation, basically pitching a campaign concept for a brand that I was already working on. So basically their biggest client was one of the brands that I was working for at the company. So it's like, I already know the team I already know the brand team for this brand, your biggest client. I'm already aware of the product. Like, it just makes sense to give me this role because I already work at the company where your biggest client is housed. So I created the campaign. Literally, the campaign I sent them was the same campaign I pitched to the actual brand, and the actual brand loved it. I basically pitched them the same concept, but just give or take a few different ideas based on the requirements for the project, just to find out that hiring is being paused. Why y'all ain't paused hiring before I submitted this pitch deck? Then I was trying to get in contact with the head honcho because we had built like a relationship even outside of me applying to work at her company. And so she traveled to Atlanta frequently. So she was like, the next time I'm in Atlanta, let's connect. So I was like, okay, even though, hiring was paused, I would love to still connect with you to, go for a coffee chat, a coffee date. Completely ghosted. I followed up with her a couple weeks after, completely ghosted. So I was like, you know what? Y'all don't have to worry about me no more. You don't have to worry about me no more. Then there was another instance where I had found a job application through TikTok. So they had announced that, they had a position opening and how to apply. I made it to the final round for that one where I was supposed to be meeting with the CEO of the company. I had a pitch deck. I submitted my pitch deck. That was a part of the presentation. And quite literally while I was in my interview, the lady who I was interviewing with was like, you're literally like so perfect for this role. Like, you're literally going to get this role. If you are working in HR or anything like that, please do not overpromise these people that are applying for jobs, okay? Because you're getting our hopes up for what? She was like, you're going to get this job. She was like, it's literally yours. Like, you are so perfect for this role, just for me to get an email. When I was working, I was literally at the job that pulled me into depression. I got an email saying, so sorry, but we went with another candidate. What the fuck you mean you went with another candidate? After you just told me that the job was mine. So please, y'all, please don't get your hopes up, okay? Please don't put all your eggs in one basket. Please do not do free labor for these companies. In my personal opinion, if you are going to have me do some sort of project, presentation, or pitch deck, you need to pay me for my ideas. Even if I don't get the job, you need to pay me. There are companies that are paying potential candidates for a position to do that type of work in their interview process, because we're spending our time, our energy, and we're giving you our ideas, which you could then turn around and use. So everything that I pitched to those two companies, they could have very well turned around and used those ideas for their company and made bank off of it. So no, I was like, after that, I was like, okay, I'm done applying for jobs. I don't think I applied to any more jobs, like actual in my field positions after that, because I was like, I'm not about to continue doing these pitch decks and these presentations just to get ghosted by these companies. That's bullshit. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there. So next, I said, mind you, those companies have full access to my ideas and work for no compensation. Please, y'all, don't let them get you. Like, I feel like a lot of, especially when you work in marketing, like, or anything that has to deal with like case studies or providing proof, they want you to do some sort of project. But I'm like, that is what my portfolio is for. My portfolio can show you the type of work that I can do. If you can't get what you need based off of my portfolio, unless it's a quick writing assignment, if it's something that you can actually use and turn around to benefit your brand. So like when I was interviewing for the Fortune 500 company, we had to do a writing assignment, but it was just them giving us a prompt and us changing the writing for that prompt to be XYZ. That's fine. That's quick. That's easy. That's not anything that they can then turn around and profit off of. But if you're asking me to make a pitch deck, if you're asking me to make a proposal, a campaign deck, you need to pay me for that, because you could very well turn around and use all of those ideas. And honestly, I feel like the job market be real schemy. I honestly feel like it's probably some companies out there that literally post fake positions so that they can get people to apply. They can get their information, number one. But number two, they can tell them that they need some campaign ideas or some pitch deck ideas, and then just tell everybody that that hiring is paused, or tell people that they didn't get the position, but they still gonna use their ideas. I'm sure that's a thing, y'all. But let me continue. So by the time December rolled around, that dream job was quite literally the only real opportunity I had seen since turning down that Fortune 500 offer back in March. Y'all, I was applying to hundreds of applications every single week, and I had not received a single approval, a single offer until the company that I was interning with for the past 2 years finally created a position for me in December. So I went from March 2024 to December 2024, being strung along as an intern, applying to hella positions, getting and being connected with people who work at companies from the people that were at the company that I was working at. So I was getting connections. I had the inside connections. I'm going straight to the head hunchos, but I'm still not finding a position. And so when December came around, that was the only job offer I had received since I declined that Fortune 500 company in March. So if that tells you anything about that job market, y'all, it ain't no joke. So I said, baby, I was humbled. I put humbled in all caps, to say the least. Little did I know, well, actually I did know, but we'll get into that in just a bit. She too was about to lead to a dead end. So that job offer that I received from this company in December 2024 was about to be a dead end as well. And then I put a picture from Issa Rae's tweet where it says deep, heavy, Negro spiritual sigh, because So fast forward, I submitted my application, and your girl was excited for what was to come, or at least for what I thought was coming. And then I put dun dun dun, okay, cue my theme music. Well, yet another deep, heavy Negro spiritual sigh. Weeks, maybe even a month went by where I didn't hear anything back from anyone I was reaching out to. Every time I reached out, it was a dead end after dead end whenever I would try to follow up. And while I was the youngest at the company, I surely was not born yesterday. So I just applied for this position that y'all literally created for me, right? Y'all created the position for me. Y'all told me to apply to it because the job application had just been posted. I applied to it the same day. And y'all just go ghost. Now, I can't remember if I had done interviews before then. I think I might have done like an interview or two beforehand, and then they went ghost after the interviews. So now I'm just like, okay, what's going on? So alongside my doubts, I was receiving clarification from God that something was happening behind the scenes that would require me to choose between comfort and alignment, so much so that I took the time to write about it. So I'm literally about to read from my actual journal. So this journal is from January 28th, 2025. So literally, during that time of silence, that uncertainty, during this time period, I literally, God was speaking to me. I knew, and I'm sure I could find old text messages of me texting my friends and my family saying something like, they're going to make me choose. Like I was saying, they're like, India, don't speak that into existence. I'm like, no, I know they're going to make me choose. I knew they were going to make me choose. So let me read this for y'all. I said, not gonna lie, I'm worried. I've been wanting to hear back about this position for weeks. Something in my soul is telling me that my brands are going to interfere with this position. I don't want to speak this into existence, but I know with all my heart that I am not willing to give up my brands for this position. The worst part of all of this is the ongoing anxiety of not knowing whether they are going to require me to choose. I know in the end, God is going to lead me in the direction most aligned with my calling. I just don't know what to do right now. Should I prepare for the worst? Should I start gathering my self-employed income stream plans? Should I continue my job search in other industries? I don't know. And I put, I have a meeting with my soon-to-be boss's boss, praying all this goes well. Signed, a girl in need of some direction. So I wrote this right before I was supposed to meet with my boss's boss. Basically the same person that gave me the news about them making the position in the first place. And so, like I told y'all, I literally knew what was going to happen because God had prepared me for it beforehand. And that's how I know God is real. Like, I tell y'all all the time, I just did a life update video. Make sure y'all check that out. I was talking about how, over the past year and a half, I've gotten so much closer to God because I done been put through so many damn trials and tribulations. Okay, this was part of that, where I knew the only reason why I knew what was going to happen, it had to be God. There's nothing else that could have been. That was not luck. That was God. So fast forward to early February. Mind you, I applied mid-December. I get a message from the same person that delivered the "we made a position" news to me, and baby, I jumped. Because what the hell took y'all so long? So I finally got a message saying, you know, let's chat, let's meet, let's set up a meeting for next steps, So I'm like, okay, damn, what the hell took y'all so long? So anywho, my anxiety levels were through the roof. Like, oh my gosh, it's finally time. They're finally going to offer me the job. And guess what? They did just that. They offered me the job with a mid-level position title. So I wasn't starting off with an entry-level title. I was starting off as mid-entry, or not mid-entry, mid-level, because I had put in 2 years with that company prior. So they decided to go ahead and skip the entry-level. Like, I think, you know, like an entry-level might be like an assistant role or something like that, and then you go from assistant to like strategist or, you know, something like that, then from strategist to like manager. So they skipped the assistant, like a marketing assistant role, and they went straight to like a marketing strategist role. So with that, let me see where I'm at. Okay, and a salary that would have had me well into six figures within 1 to 3 years, just like that Fortune 500 company. And then I was like, you see how God replenished all that I had given up back in March and then some. So that salary that I had given up back in, or the previous year, back in March from that Fortune 500 company, that salary, I got that back. Okay, I was able to get the job that I actually wanted with the company that I wanted, doing what I want. That was very aligned with my career. It was coming back to me. So I was like, wow, like I turned down that Fortune 500 company and God was like, India, just wait. And he gave me back everything that I had given up and then some. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Okay. That wasn't the fool. That wasn't God's plan. Okay. That wasn't God's plan. So, I said, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. But just under 2 black and white conditions. So I can have all of that. But there are 2 black and white conditions. And actually, there's really 3. So I need to change that to 3. Now, I know I might have ruffled some feathers with that last line. So I'm going to break things down for the people in the back. Black and white does not refer to race in this instance, Bookie. Okay? It ain't race. They're not talking about race. Now, it means either take it or leave it. So that means that either you can take what we offer or you can leave it on the table. Note to everyone, I put this in italics. Note to everyone here and beyond, please don't ever ask me to take it or leave it, because I'm going to leave it. Don't give me an option to walk away, because I will walk away. I think we know that now. Like, I literally declined a Fortune 500 company. I literally designed a job that was, you know, created for me. Like, if you tell me to take it or leave it, I am going to leave it. Even with brand deals, I do the same thing. If you're not going to pay me my worth, I am going to walk away, because I don't need you. You want my content. Please don't ever ask me to take it or leave it, because I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. If I could leave a Fortune 500 company, if I could decline a Fortune 500 company offer, what makes you think that I'm a go with your nonsense? I'm literally the girl. Not only did I decline a Fortune 500 company offer, I declined an offer from a company that created the position specifically for me. If I could decline those 2 opportunities, what makes you think if you give me the opportunity to take it or leave it, then I'm going to take it? No, I'm going to leave it. You be blessed. I am very much don't give me an option to choose what's best for me and what you want, because I'm going to do what's best for me. I am president of declining. Like, what's not adding up? So here's a summary of those conditions. Please note, these are not exact wordings, rather a summary of the bullshit they asked me to agree to. So number 1, you will need to move to the city where the company is headquartered before the end of 2024. Now, it damn sure wasn't no Atlanta. Okay. Not even close. But I wasn't stressing over this one for real, because knowing me, I probably would have moved there December 31st, 2024. I would have waited to the very last minute to move over there. Next was that you have to completely step away from the operations of your hair care brand. Come again? Okay, this is where they had me messed up, okay? Because mind you, yes, there was a conflict of interest at hand with my hair care brand, so I understood, no hard feelings there, because business is business, but ain't no way in hell I'm giving up the brand I started at 14 years old just so I can leverage my creativity to make a corporation that doesn't even cater to my community millions of dollars. Baby, if y'all are not catering to the Black community with the products that you are creating, what makes you think I am going to give up my brand to feed into yours? But me trying to advocate for you to have more black creators and black influencers is a hassle. I think the fuck not. Oh, next. Number 3, you cannot engage in paid partnerships with industry competing brands. Now what? This really had me tore up, okay? Now I kind of get it, but at the same time, what I do in my free time is my business. But that's what I thought, because clearly not, okay? Clearly I was mistaken. Make sure you check out that Corporate America Was Never Built for Gen Z Substack article, because I dive into that topic very well. Not to mention, any partnerships I sought after that were not considered industry competitors. I'd still have to get approved by legal and HR before I could pursue them. Yet again, another hell no, okay? Because why am I having to run all of my partnerships, pay, usage, exclusivity terms, etc., as if I had a talent manager? The fuck? Y'all think I'm dumb? So they basically wanted me to report every single brand deal. So like, I just closed a brand deal today. I wrapped up a Camille Rose brand deal the other day. I would not have been able to do that Camille Rose partnership because the company made hair care products, even though the hair care products were not a direct competitor of Camille Rose because they were not catering to black hair care. I still would not have been able to do that partnership. And any other partnership, so if I did a fitness, if I did a home, if I did a tech, anything like that partnership, I would still have to run it by the legal team to get approval. Are you my manager? Are you my talent manager? I didn't know I had a talent manager. So no, I was like, this is jail. So I said, well, that'll do it. Guess they don't have to worry about me no more. And they certainly did not have to, okay? Now, did I have a cry? Absolutely. A Tyrese cry at that. Y'all know that Tyrese cry. I had a Tyrese cry. It was an ugly cry too. But only because I realized the power of God in that moment. I knew this was going to happen weeks before it did because God had already prepared me for this very moment. I told y'all I knew this was going to happen weeks before it did, because how do I go through the interview process and then I hear absolutely nothing? Every time I follow up, I hear nothing. But I literally work at this company and I'm hearing nothing. That means something is wrong, because this position was created for me, which means that even if you did interview other people, you guys already knew that you were going to give me the position. You hosted the interviews, you posted the job because of formalities. You have to do that. But the plan was to give me the position. So if the plan was to give me the position, then why am I having to wait literally almost 2 months to hear back about this position? I knew this was going to happen. So the decision was easy to make, but I won't lie. The idea of being thrown back into the ruthless job market and re-entering a state of unknown, as the girl who always had everything planned out to a T, was psyching me out. So I knew that I wasn't going to accept the job, but I think I was more so upset because I'm like, I have to start over again. I have to enter the job application. Like, I wasn't crying because, oh my gosh, like I'm turning down, another nearly 6-figure salary. I don't really care about that. It was oh my gosh, now I got to re-enter the job market. Now, I'm not going to have consistent income. I'm trying to move out, and now that's going to have to be on pause. Like, I was just so eager to start adulthood, move out, all of those things. And I knew that was going to have to be on pause. And I also knew, I'm going to have to find another job, or I'm going to have to make something shake, basically. But it was less about, oh my gosh, like I have to decline the position. No. Because I knew I was going to choose my brands regardless, okay? That's one thing I want to get straight. People are like, oh, like, was it hard? No, it wasn't hard to come up with the decision. I knew what I was going to do the minute that he said that I had to give up my hair care brand, because I knew I wasn't about to do that. The hard part was, dang, now I got to enter the job market again. Now I can't move out and get the house or apartment that I wanted. Okay, that was the hard part. That was what the Tyrese cry was for, okay? So called up my loved ones, cried about it a little more, because I knew I was about to decline yet another position that many, including myself, prayed for. Then I whipped up the courage to send an "it's not you, it's me" message to my manager, letting her know that I was about to decline the offer. I was then hit with the "I don't blame you, but don't decline yet. Give me some time to see what we can do and if we can find a loophole," something to that extent. And I put in here, shout out to my whole team. They really did not play about me. In fact, it was legal and HR who straight played in my face, bombastic side eye. Okay, they was the one that was playing in my face the whole time. So for the next week or two, I practically was at peace with leaving, but slightly hopeful that a loophole could be met. So I was having meetings with different people, trying to see like if, a loophole could be met. They could have made a loophole, but they didn't want to. And at that point, it's like, if you don't want to make a loophole, if you want to stay secluded to, you know, being very strict on your current employees, that's fine, because I'm not going to put myself in this type of work environment. And that's why I tell people all the time, when you are interviewing for positions, it is a two-way street. How you are being treated by that company makes all the difference as well. It's not just what can they do for you. I mean, it's not just what can you do for them. It's what can they do for you. Okay. Can they accommodate your lifestyle? Can they accommodate your successes? Because why do I have to limit my success to what I do at this job? I should be able to do whatever the hell I want outside of this job, as long as it's not causing your company to, you know, go under fire, which what I'm doing ain't got nothing to do with you. So what's the issue here? So there were very well loopholes that could have been met. And there were people who were telling me that there were loopholes that could have been met. But the overarching legal HR people, I guess they didn't want to put the work in to have that happen. And that's on them, because they lost out on me. And they know that. They know they lost out on me. So, you know, it is what it is. Ain't no hard, bad blood there. But like I said, I love my team down to the ground and back around for how they advocated for me leading up to the position being created and following my tent to incline. Because who you know that has a whole vice president advocating on their behalf for legal contractual terms that have probably been in place for decades to be revised? But me, okay? Now, long story short, I was the first baddie this company had ever seen. They simply did not have the policies in place for multi-hyphenates like myself, and that's okay. Like I said, no bad blood. Just as they had a business to maintain, I had 3. Just as you have a business to maintain, I have 3 businesses to maintain. So what we really doing here? Okay, so I officially declined. And I was assigned my last date, which was the end of March, and it was actually the same day as Tyler Chromacopia concert. So I really just felt like I was on top of the world. I was like, okay, my last day is this day, and I'm going to see Tyler the Creator later that night. That's a win, okay? I was geeked. Like, what better way to close out that chapter than being 10 inches away from one of my favorite artists while singing and dancing my anxiety away? Like, we're not going to think about the fact that today is my last day. I'm not going to have no more checks, you know, rolling in after like a week or two. We gonna sing our hearts out to Chromacopia, okay? But little did I know, said fun employment would slowly but surely turn into depression, being broke, and completely down bad. But that's another story for another day. So until next time, XOXO, the Corporate Dropout. So that's the end of part 2. Part 3, I will be taking you guys into that period of time, that long periodically time where I was slowly but surely becoming depressed. So I do have a video kind of explaining that, but I am going to make a Substack about that, because y'all know I want to be transparent. I want to be open. It's not all blue skies and butterflies. Like, it may seem like my life is completely perfect. I promise y'all it's not. And that's why I wanted to create this platform. That's why I wanted to start the Corporate Dropout, because I want to show you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because I feel like I do show everything, but I want y'all to hear it different. Like, I want to present it differently. So it's like I'm writing it in the Corporate Dropout. I'm coming on here and I'm narrating it, okay? But then I'm also showing you guys vlogs so that you can see the real, the day-to-day work as well. And so I want y'all to know that this life is not perfect. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, I wish I could do XYZ, baby. Do y'all know that I wake up at 4 a.m? That I work practically 12 plus hours every single day trying to edit, record content, but also do whatever part-time job I was dealing with at the time. Okay, this life, it's a lot. It's very much hard work. And so I definitely want to show more of that side and be more vulnerable with you guys as I continue my journey. So definitely stay tuned. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for the next one. I'm dropping my next Substack literally tomorrow. So by the time this video is up, my next Substack will already be out. So definitely be sure to stay tuned for that. And I will, of course, make another video for my next Substack. So stay tuned, you guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to my Substack as well. It will be linked in the bio. And I will see y'all in the next video. Cool.